everybody. Welcome to another 5-move song by song sequence. Not super warm out here today, but warm enough, especially once you start hooping. So we are going to work with 2 hand hoops today, and our first move is going to be hip reels. Hip reels, as a reminder, is the one where we start with our arm out, thumb pointing up, turn it to thumb pointing down, bring those knuckles in next to your hip. If you're working with 2 hoops, then the hand that is behind you is going to have your palm facing into your body. So you've got the pinky leading directions with your hip reels. You've also got your thumb leading directions. You can also do pinky with one hand, thumb with the other. And if your hip reels are already feeling really good, and we've talked about front waist straps, it's a great time to try front waist straps, or to practice your front waist straps. If we haven't talked about it at all, then stick with your hip reels. But if we have talked about it, just as a reminder, this is the one that we start with the hoops up. We send them both behind us to the right. This is kind of a combination of half of a hip reel and half of a weave, both one pinky and one thumb leading. All the interesting stuff happens as the hoops move across us from right to left, and when they're going from left to right, all they're doing is transiting to behind the right hand side of our body to start all over again. So that first song you're going to spend on hip reels, pinky and thumb leading directions, or both, and front waist straps if you have them. First song. Second song, we're going to work with our Z spins. Arms out straight from our body. We've got our thumb leading direction. Both arms are going to come down, up, flip, flip with the hoops. And we've also got our pinky leading direction. And if you can do this with 1 hoop, then you can do it with 2. It is not a super skilled move. It is just a strength building move. So don't be afraid to play with it with both hoops. Kind of a coordination challenge too, to get the hoops to not smash into each other the majority of the time that they go up. All right, so that is your second song. Third song, we are going to work with our 2-beat weave, forward and reverse, but we're only going to start with our non-dominant hand. So for my forward 2, I'm going to start with this as my non-dominant hand, the green hoop, the one that's closer to you. I'm going to do that for something like half the song, or I'm going to switch up kind of equally between that and the pinky leading, to also starting with that non-dominant hand. Just, we don't give quite enough attention to our non-dominant hand starts. You can always benefit from more practice from those. So with your forward, with your reverse, play around with those. Good chance to get extra comfortable there. Third song, we are going to work with our reverse 3-beat weave. So that is one that has thumb spins, and this one's a little bit more challenging than the forward 3 because it is pinky leading. That's why we call it the reverse. And that is your 4th song. 5th song, we are going to be working with our fountains. Fountains are the combination of our 2-beat, our forward 2 on our left, our reverse 2 on our right, and our windmills up above. You can be working with any piece of that you feel needs the most practice. You could be working with either any of those individual moves or any of the individual transitions. There's a lot to be honing our skills with this move. So play around with that. This is also a great one to practice 1 hoop at a time as you get used to it. In particular, that lets you practice, really concentrate on those different hand grip changes. And of course, if your fountains are super strong, then you can try your reverse fountains, which starts everything with an opposite hand start. Your opposite hand start 2 on your right moves to the reverse 2 opposite hand start on your left, and your reverse windmills up above. So feel free to practice that. So to recap, our 5 moves today were: our first song we did hip reels. So ideally with 2 hoops, but if you're still working with 1, go with 1. So hip reels, pinky leading, thumb leading, and maybe front waist straps if that's something that you're working with also, which is kind of the combination of the hip reel and a weave. So that's the first song. Second song, we did our Z spins. Pretty easy and lots of fun. Do those thumb leading and pinky leading. Third song, we did our, what did we do our third song? We did our 2-beat weaves, right? So we did our forward 2 and our reverse 2, both of which we were starting with our non-dominant hand. So great practice there. For our fourth song, we did our reverse 3-beat weave. So the pinky leading 3-beat weave, always excellent practice. And for our fifth song, we did our fountains. So fountains is our forward 2 on our left, reverse 2 on our right, and our windmills up above, and so many different pieces of that you can really devote some good attention to. So I hope this was a good little exercise session for you today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're soaking up some fresh air, and I will be back tomorrow with more ideas. Take good care.